Howdy everyone. Good afternoon, Nimby here. We'll be tying up some cappies today. This is actually a very similar pattern to what we were tying yesterday, just a little bit different style of wing and tail, using more grizzly hackle. It's actually probably a much easier pattern for some of the new tyers to tackle if they wish. We're going to start off with our thread base. Just at our tie-in point there. Just a bobbin width, We're gonna go right up to the point, right there. I'm gonna do about 2 to 3 wraps back just to pin it in. Clip that off. Oh, we'll enjoy a little bit of tea. Oh, good day. Sorry, just getting one of my stream windows positioned proper there. Okay, so we're tying a cappy, which is basically a lot similar to the Brad's Brat. The only difference is it's a single color body, being orange in this case, and it's chased with some yellow to light orange embroider thread. So we're going to be using a 73? Yeah, 73. Got it backwards. There you go. Using a 73 punch card. Wool. I'm not quite sure if I'll be using this kind of bright pumpkin orange. This is an old vintage one from West Germany. Or using this more modern kind of light orange. Maybe we'll do one of each. This is a brand new spool here, and I got lots on there, so. This one's just a Coates and Clark. Does it have a model number? It's machine embroidered thread. Polyester. Looks like 826, if anyone's interested in the color on that one. It is a nice, interested color. It's a little bit modern. Yeah, I had a green one just like this for some of the Christmas ties. I think I put it away. This one, if you're talking about this one looking familiar, then I have the one I use for like all sorts of flies is this guy. So it's just a darker shade of the same stuff. And it's a little more used up because I use these on a lot of salmon, and or I did use until I got this brighter yellow, because that's more of the traditional color, to be honest. But I did use this orange, and it was very effective. So we're gonna use. Just not sure. Like, I'd like to use this orange, but I think it might not contrast quite enough with that body material, right? Like, it's lighter, but it's not, that much lighter. But we'll try both and see how it sits. Start off with, though, we're going to start off by tying our tail. Our tail on this one's a little bit different than what we normally do. So what we're going to want to do is we want to get our grizzly saddle hackle, or not saddle, sorry. I went through a number of my saddles. Yeah, I love embroidery thread. I could buy way too much of it. I only grab it when it's exceedingly inexpensive and it's in the right colors that I know I'm going to be using, because yeah, I could fill a whole drawer full of that stuff. I was trying to find the right sizes on the saddles that I have, and I just really had trouble finding the right sizes, so I went to the capes. The capes seem to do a lot better for me. So what we're looking for the tail is some of these guys down here that are smaller, but you can get like a matched pair. Well, not like a matched pair like quill wings, but basically two of the same size. So like these guys here. The nice thing about embroidery thread with thrift shops, Rob, is they're almost always there. You don't always have the selection that you'd like to have, mind you, but there's almost always some embroidery thread or similar. Almost all my threads and wools have come from thrift stores. But you can see here, if you're looking through, like this one, this area is a little picked through, it's a little bit thinner. But you want to find these guys, like right about here would work, these two. Already got a couple pulled off, but these guys would be fine. You want some thinner ones, so they're like these two right here would work. That I got in my fingers, that would work fine. That's about the size and about the coloration you're looking for. For the tail, anyway. For the wing, you want to go up to this top corner. I know you probably can't see the whole cape here, but try and get kind of in. So the bottom's down here where it curves off to the neck. And then this very top corner of your capes, a lot of times, not always, depends on how they trim the cape up, but a lot of times you're going to have a little patch sticking out here almost like a wing, like this part right here. And that's where they actually pull the chickaboo from. So again, depending on who's done up your... Yeah, that's a wonderful hackle. You can use this for all sorts of stuff. You got one of these and it's, you know, this is your kind of go-to. This one and a red rooster are definitely your two hackle capes you should have. So you can tie so much with them. Anyway, but up in the top corner here, if you're lucky, you can see on the back here, this is trimmed to a point. And a lot of times when you're buying them in the fly shop, they'll be round trimmed. So you'll have this corner here will be trimmed off, and you might not have it. You can generally tell just by looking on the back of the cape. But if they left it on, which hopefully they did, you get what is commonly termed as chickaboo. And you'll get these, it's like a cross between a marabou, well, it's basically the marabou and a chicken. And you'll get these nice little rounded feathers off the side here. And these ones are a little smaller. And as you go up to the top corner, you can see they become much bigger and softer. I can get one out here so you can see it better. There. I got two kind of not playing ball with me here. Come on, buddy. There we go. Okay. There we go. We got one all by itself. So you can see here, this is a nice, almost like you can definitely use these for soft hackles. And of course, you just dig through until you find the size and the coloration you're looking for. But these ones here work really well for the wing on the top part. So, if you have a cape, not a saddle. The saddles I just found were too long. You could make a saddle work, but you'd have to cut some of the bigger stuff off. Not necessarily waste a lot of the feather, because you could save it for other things like nymph legs and what have you. But those are the two areas that we're going to be tackling. I already pre-pulled a bunch off for myself, so I don't have to worry about doing that with... Stay. I don't have to worry about that with each fly. In theory, if the ones I pulled off don't go flying away or missing. So we're going to start off with our two here. And the other nice thing is you're going to be doubling these up. So if you pull it off, you can do this with just random loose grizzly hackle, but you're going to have to spend some time digging through to find two that'll match. Are you trying to grab the star? Here, let me spawn another star for you. There you go. Have fun. So you got two of them here. And what you want to do is you want to put the shiny side back, the two dull sides back to back, so the shiny sides are on the outside. So they're cupping each other. Yeah, sorry, my 5-second chat delay probably doesn't help with your timing a whole lot. Hey Yoshi, good to see you, mate. Yeah, me and Robert hanging out right now. I'm doing a bit of a... Hey, you got one! There you go, you got two. Good job, Ronnie. Yeah. Anywho, this one has quite a long tail on it. Basically the length of the body here. So it's more like a dry fly, the way it's tied up in proportions. But it's yeah, I got all sorts of games I can throw on there, but you know, it's more just for fun for you guys than anything. Um, Sorry, brain went blank. Uh, Tail. So the tail is going to be tied in at the length of the body, which is a lot longer than you would have on most wet flies. So this one, proportion-wise, is tied kind of like a dry fly, because generally that's what you'd have on a dry fly is a tail to that length. I'm going to actually try and if it'll let me. There we go. Come on, buddy. Ugh. There we go. Just gonna try and split this tail so that one's on one side, one's on the other. So when I tie it in, it'll kind of cup a bit. A lot of times you'll get a better position on your tail that way. I'm gonna start with just a soft wrap, bring it down. That'll stop it from spinning as much, and just one more soft wrap. We want to have it going kind of straight out the back. It'll work fine if it's angled down just a wee bit, but you don't want it pointing at the ground. So this is imitating, I'm assuming anyway, it wasn't written in any of his stuff, but to me it looks like it's imitating a small bait fish with an orange body. So I'm not sure if that would be like a crappie or what bait fish that would be imitating, but to me it looks definitely like it's imitating a little bait fish. It was originally tied by C.L. Franklin, who ran an outdoors shop and outfitting in Los Angeles in the 70s. But it became really popular all the way up and down the West Coast, Washington area, Idaho, kind of all over the place. It was a really effective fly. Kind of fell out of popularity in the 80s, but it was really effective and popular in the 70s and early 80s. I'm going to leave this on to build a little bit of bulk in the body. And we're going to trim it off right at our tie-in point. Bink. And just tie the waist in. Then we'll come back the other way and we'll tie in our embroidery thread first, and then we'll do our wool body. Alright, this is just a nice little poofy grizzly tail. Nothing crazy. It does take a little bit of practice to tie those in so they sit proper. Yeah, I think that's why it was called Chappie. Just as like a play on the word would be my assumption, but I don't have any history on it. To that effect anyway. Just an assumption. Makes sense to me. He didn't write too many books, but he did do a lot of writing for magazines, so it's possible that I might be able to find some articles from him on this. And he wrote for Outdoors and a number of other fairly popular fishing and outdoor magazines, so it's very possible that he put this pattern in there at some point and elaborated on it. I haven't been able to find it though, but I'm sure it's out there. I could probably spend some time on Google. But not super necessary. It's a very simple pattern. Effective. Like I said, good for a new tire to tie, since it goes through a lot of kind of basic fundamentals for body shape, and you get to play with a nice big thick tail on the back. Like, oh, you can see there I got too close to tail and it started moving on me, so I want to avoid that. It was sitting all nice, so I want to keep it that way. There we go. Okay, we'll get some more of this orange going. Such a nice, lovely pumpkin orange too. I could probably use this color on stimulators too, I would think. I don't think I have, but I could. I have some other wonderfully old vintage sparkle yarn that is just wonderful for stimulator patterns. It's basically kind of like a UV Antron, but from the 70s before Antron was a thing. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you saw that. That's good to keep your eye on. That's definitely not a trap, but like a annoyance that new tires have, where their tail will look perfect. They'll be all happy. They'll spend the time to get it in there right, and then they'll start tying on their body material or their rib, and all of a sudden their tail's like just pointing up or pointing down or sideways, and they're like, "What happened? Everything was good." Well, that's what happened. And sometimes it can be that you, like in this case, I might have not got my tail wraps because I'm not actually close enough to the tail really to interrupt it. So what could have happened in that case is I didn't have my thread wraps as even as they should have been as far as tension goes, and they were looser. Let me get my bodkin and I'll use it as a pointer. So if my thread wraps are looser here and tighter here, which is a common problem because you just always tighten up as you get closer to the material. Just a bad habit that most people have, including myself. But if you're looser here and tighter here, as you're bringing your body material and wrapping, you're going to grab this slightly looser thread here and pull it down as you're wrapping. And that will, actually I almost did it, I think, with my bobbin, so that's probably exactly what happened. If you watch, I can see I can move the, I'm not touching the tail fins, I'm pretty far away from them, but just pushing with the force there. So I didn't quite get my thread wraps as secure just in that spot. And it's like, can be minute too. If you're tying in tails like this where it has a rachis going all the way in, the rachis is going to be affected by all your other thread wraps, so it's a lot more sensitive to that kind of thing than if you're doing, say, a hair tail, or if you're just pulling some fibers off of a feather, because then the rachis is connected to all the fibers all the way up to the end, so it has like a little, it's like a little feeler. So I'm just gonna lightly wrap this first bit here because our thread is going to come back and cover that, or overwrap, or blah blah blah. Our embroidery thread is going to segment it anyway and overwrap all this. I'm going to go all the way here. Since we have a wing on this, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a thicker thorax, so I'm going to go, I know I'm just hand wrapping this, I could use the rotary, but already on the move, so we're just going to keep up with the hand wrapping. There's absolutely nothing wrong with hand wrapping. Just because you have a rotary setup doesn't mean you need to use it. Really, really don't. Now I'm just going to be rolling back for about the first third and go just a little bit farther than a third, but I'm going to go back and bite in so that it gives me a nice little ramp. And then back to the start here. That'll just give me a slight thorax bump. Definitely not in the original pattern, but this is just a Nimby thing. I like my flies to have little thorax bumps. I think they look better. It's a little more natural, not that this is a natural bug, but it also allows me to have a not flat ramp to get this wing up a bit, because the original pattern calls for a wing tied at a height from the hook. Nice, we got that in. Just gonna cut that off here. Okay, so now we get to find out if this is going to be on our side or not as far as coloration goes. So let's see here. Oh yeah, I think that's bright enough, hey? Now you can definitely see that. The nice thing about this, like the older embroidery thread, I don't know what they used with it, but it has like an iridescent It really catches light well. I think they were doing that for badges and like these, especially these colors, like your golds and your yellows that you typically have like around the outside of a embroidery badge or something. They really catch the light well, more than the modern stuff does. You can still get the exact same color, same SKU number and everything. It's just the modern ones don't have that. It's like a shine, for lack of a better way to describe it. There you go. All good, Rob. I don't mind. Just glad to have you in, mate. We missed you the other day. Yeah, happy to have you. And you go right ahead and do the pans and whatnot. I'm perfectly happy to yabber at you. Okay, so we got the body in. As you can see, it's just a really simple fly so far. But it adds a little bit of fun. What do you want? Sorry, my dog wants outside. 1 second. What do you want outside for? Hey Yoshi, sorry about that. I'm back. He's gonna want back in a sec here, so I'm gonna get like half suited up because he's just gonna want back in. Okay. Like I was saying, it's a wonderful little beginner pattern because you get to play with a few things that are a little bit on the rougher side. Like get these tails to sit right can be a little bit of challenge for some new tires, get them nice and straight like that. But it lets you practice with some easy to find materials and kind of moves you up from just doing a straight tail. Like if this one really bugs you, you can just strip some of the fibers off of, I mean, I know this isn't a grizzly hackle, but this is like the size I would go with. So if you had a saddle and that's all you got is a grizzly saddle, and again, I know this is not a grizzly feather, but you could just strip some of these guys off. Pack them fairly decent. You'd have to strip off a good bunch. But you could just pack those off and strip those in as the tail if you just can't get that to work for you. And that would fish just fine. There'd be nothing wrong with that, and it would look pretty close to identical in the water. This tail is going to move a little bit more like a fish fin as it's retrieved, but I mean the difference is going to be very, very minor. So that's why it's a great pattern for a new tire, because they can modify it and work their way up to doing the bigger things. Okay, let me get these together. I pulled out a bunch of feathers here for the wing. See if I can get two that are the same. I thought I pulled out 4. I only see 3 there. Huh. Okay, I must have counted wrong. That's okay, we only need 2 for now. I'll get another 2 later. I must have thought this had 2. Almost looks like it does, but it doesn't. I must have thought that was 2 feathers. Okay, so anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be tying these in as the wing, and you need 2 of them like this, cupped together, and they're gonna be our whole wing. We're going to shave those down a bit because they're too big. And if you can pull them from the same spot in the cape that we're going over there before earlier, life will be a lot easier for you. If you got a bunch of mixed stuff that you're digging through, like a bag, a hackle, just do your best. Just match it up best you can. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt to get 2 that match enough, but you can do it. Just take a little bit of time. So once you get it like that, we want it to go about mid-tail, so we want to bring it back to almost where that black band is, but not quite. And again, if you're tying up any nymphs or whatnot, you can save all the stuff you're pulling off for legs and whatever if you wish to. Yeah, that's about right there. That's what we're looking for. So if you have a cape like that and it's got the chickaboo still attached, that's kind of like your little sweet spot right there. And I'm just going to clean this one off the same. Probably could have done this ahead of time for you guys, but some people like watching me clean the feathers, so this one, yeah, it looks like this one's about the same, so it's right around that black band. Oh, dog's back. 1 second. Gonna get this feather cleaned up first, and I'll grab him. Okay. Yeah, still a little more. I don't want to take too much into that black band though, because I want it to match the other one as best it can anyway. But yeah, if you're pulling from a cape, the other nice thing is that the pattern on the feather will roughly match the other ones around it for the most part. Okay, 1 second. I'll grab my dog again. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Looks like the mic's still working. That's always good. So let me get set back up here. Yeah, so now we got our 2 feathers done up. We want to transpose those. And again, these were taken from the same side of the cape. So you don't need to take like a left and a right. You can if you really want to, but you can see you can transpose these just fine on the same side of the cape. So it's not quite like you need to do for a quill wing. And then putting them together, you get this beautifully done up little grizzly wing. Just gonna make a wonderful little top wing for us here. Oh, sorry, I must have bumped my camera. The dog did at one point. Sorry if that was like that for a bit. I'm not sure how long it's been like that. Apologize. So there we go. Get our nice little wing there. This guy's gonna sit like right about here. And I got a little bit of fluff on the bottom you can see coming out there, so I'm gonna grab 2 wings together like this, and we're just gonna remove from the bottom a few more fibers so it's clean. That'll also stop it from standing up quite as much. There. Then we got them from the same 2 feathers at the same time. So yeah, and you get this nice, like these 2, hopefully you can see that where it's the same. I can't really turn my hand all the way around. Well, you'll see it when I rotate the fly. If you get them from the same part of the cape, then the colorations should be almost exact, if not really, really close. And the benefit of that is it'll look the same as you turn the fly, which is 100% for the fly fisherman and the fly tyer, and not the fish. So he's not going to remember what the pattern looked like when he was on the other side. And if he does, he's super smart, and you should probably throw him back. I'm just tying in the rachis. We're going to be building up a bit of a head here because I need to have a nice flat. Ooh, that jumped way too much. Let's try that again. I'm going to throw some rosin on there because it's being a bit of a booger. Yeah, booger. There we go. See if that rosin does me any good or not. So again, I'm gonna hold it right on the tip there, the wings between my fingers. Try and get a soft wrap in here at the top if I can so it doesn't slide down as much. There, got one in. Get a few wraps on it to hold it in place, and then we'll pin it down. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. You can see that the coloration on either side of the two feathers is almost identical. So if you pull it from the same, and this is just your backyard chicken. Like there's nothing special about this cape. It's actually a very old cape too, but it's just a backyard grizzly hackle um, cream leg bar rooster. Like nothing crazy, not genetic. You can make some beautiful flies, like you can see with this one. You get some beautiful tails and beautiful wings out of just very general generic hackle. You can get that from like an Indian hackle, an Indian cape, or Chinese cape, for like $5-10, if not less. And it'll have the same coloration on it. You might have to dig through a little bit to find the nicer ones. Like I dug through a little bit to get this one, but nothing crazy. But you can see how for a new tire, this would be very effective pattern to start learning wings and that, because this will give you a really nice looking wing. This will cast way better, it'll hold together better, it'll, well, I shouldn't say it'll fish better, but as a new fly tire, you're probably somewhat of a new fisherman. And having a full feather in there like this is way more durable than having a quill wing in there, which is going to get trashed in a couple fish or a couple dozen casts or so. So this will hold together better for you. It'll look better. It's an easy, really easy pattern. The orange is nice for a little bit of an attractor. Just overall, just a great little thing to have. Kind of yabbering on that, so I'll let that go for a bit. Well, this is the exact same area of the cape I was pulling the tail fibers from. It's just a little bit of a longer one there. We're gonna clean it up a bit, as the bottom fibers are a little on the big side. We don't need a whole lot of hackle on the front of this, just a handful of wraps. Because we're not trying to float this, it is fished as a wet fly. This is just adding some movement to the front, probably to simulate, front gills and front fins and all that good stuff. I'm gonna pin this off as I throw it all over my bobbin. There we go. That's really all we need. Just a little whiff of hackle. We're just going to be making a handful of wraps around it. And if you're new tire and you're having problems with your hackle wraps, you can just throw a grizzly beard on this. Perfectly fine. There'd be nothing wrong with that. Just turn your fly upside down, grab some fibers off. Here, I'll do it up quick for you. So again, just assume this was grizzly hackle fiber and not badger, but I won't say anything if you don't. We're just going to hold that in there. Soft wrap in this case is better than just going all the way around, or it'll chase on you a little bit. Just makes life a little easier on you. And I'm not going to trim it off here. Well, I guess I could. We're going to be tossing it anyway. Or I could leave it on there, there's nothing wrong with that. Not the exact pattern here, but yeah, sure, why not? I'll just leave it on. Yeah, if you don't want to do the hackle, or if you want to do this and the hackle, you can do that as well. There you go, just a little beard, super simple. And you could have that, you could use your grizzly hackle for that. And that would be like your finished fly right there. So if you're just learning and hackles just got you stumped, and as you're really struggling with it, you still want a pretty looking fly, just throw a beard in. Beards are super useful. They work really well. They're easy to tie in. They still provide a bit of a challenge. You still need to do a lot of, practice, get your beards looking good. Well, there you go. That would be a really easy fly for a new tyer to tie up. And it still looks impressive. It's still fun to tie, nice bright colors. And it looks very similar to, let's see if I got any kicking around here. Do I have any kicking around? Quill wings? I probably do, but they're probably way in the back. Yeah, well, actually, it's not too much different than these ones we were tying the other day either. Anyway, y'all know what a quill wing looks like a Royal Coachman. Oh, I do have some, but they're way back there. I wonder if I can reach them. We're just gonna go with you know what a Royal Coachman looks like. If you got a quill wing, I just don't want to grab it right now because I can just imagine it knocking all my stuff over because it's way in the back. So we're just gonna assume we did that and just not. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this a little bit on the short side there because we got a pretty stubby small head. This is a size. What are we tying on today? Was it size 10? I think it's a size 10. It might have been size 8. I think it's a size 8 actually now that I'm thinking about it. I'm just going to lightly score it with the hemostats. Give me a little bit of a rougher surface to tie into. So it doesn't pull out as easy. Alright, now we're going to tie that in. I'm just going to grab my small, if I can locate them, small hackle pliers. There we go. That was more for safety, just in case I drop it, but because this is a smaller hackle, I want to use up what I can off of it. The smaller hackle is going to put, or the smaller hackle pliers will put a little bit less oomph on there. So I'm not as likely to break it. If I'm a little heavier on the mitts. Yeah, I mean that little beard that we put in there. Come on, buddy. Little beard that we put in there will add a lot of movement and life to the fly if you don't want to do the hackle part. Hey Valhalla, good to have you in, mate. I was just wondering how you were doing after Christmas and everything. You got that new Jeep, it looks fine. I'll have to send you some pictures of my father's 49 Willie's Jeep that he's just finishing up. I spent many afternoons when I was a young guy working on that Jeep, so I got a soft spot for Jeeps. Oh, it's wifey's car. Oh, I thought you were treating yourself. Should have known better, being that it was all pretty and white. Good for you, though, man. You've been working real hard. Yeah, so we're just doing that hackle there. Like I said, just a handful of wraps. We're not trying to necessarily float this, even though it is tied as in the proportions of a dry fly. It's meant to be dragged under the... meant to be fished underwater. There's a wet fly. Okay, we're just gonna clean that up now. I'm gonna pull these back a bit because we are gonna sweep these just slightly. I'm just gonna get like 2 or 3 wraps on top of the front hackle here. Trying to bind down a few of the fibers. Not a huge amount, but I think that'll do it. We'll see how we did. My finger caught on the barb. There we go. There we go. So yeah, wonderful, excellent little fly for a new tire, I think. Because you could really beat that up too as you're tying it and still come out with a decent looking fly. Your proportions could be slightly off, it'll still fish fine. It's called a Chappie, which I think is a play on like a small crappie minnow. Again, that's my assumption. It was tied in the 70s by CL Franklin in Los Angeles, and there's not a lot of information about it that I was able to dig up anyway, but he was a pretty famous outdoorsman. He wrote a lot of articles for Outdoor Magazine and such. So he might have talked more about it at some point, I just wasn't able to find much on it. But I've definitely fished this one a fair bit up here. It works a treat in creeks. Like if I was looking for an area where I was fishing like a Royal Coachman and there's brookies around, this would be something I'd definitely try and have in my box. Because this one's way more durable and it kind of has the same attractor quality. But yeah, with these, like with the hen hackle or the chickaboo wings, they sit nice and right smack on top. But since they have a rachis running through them, unlike a quill, you can bang these, not quite all day, but you can really do some damage to them. Like if I was doing that to a quill wing, it would look like bunk after, right? It would all be all split up. So as a new fisher, new tire, that's a very good substitute. So you can get a type of dry fly that you can fish with, a sinking tip or a sinking line or a floating line and just wait for it to sink in, pull it through the film on the top. It's just a very versatile fly for a new tire. And not that a Coachman isn't versatile, you can do all sorts of stuff with that too. Yeah, it's just more like it's a utilitarian fly, right? It's like an F-150. It's something that you can abuse a little bit and it'll still, get you a fish in. And don't get me wrong, I love my Coachmen. They're my absolute favorite fly, but you will go through a good amount of them creek fishing because they will get chewed up. Not that this one won't either, but you'll definitely get a little more mileage out of this. And same with the tail too, right? Like the golden pheasant tails on a Coachman, they're fairly robust, but a lot of times the trout will nip them off, and you'll end up with a much shorter tail. Where with this rachis in the tail, it's way harder for them to strip that out. So yeah, really good, durable little fly. Fun little tie, fairly easy, simple materials. If you wanted to dub the body with some orange dubbing, if you have some orange stuff laying around for doing stimulators or whatever, sure, do that. If you got some orange yarn that's too big, you could shred it up and make some dubbing and just dub it up so you could change the way you do the pattern up and get a lot of practice in with this one pattern. Just gonna remove these two here just before we get the head cement on there. Just 2 larger ones from that feather that are sticking up. There. May as well make it pretty, right? Put a little effort into it. Make sure everything else looks good. I do like that little beard on it. Even with my Royal Coachman, I actually really prefer a beard. They just seems to work better. But that's nice. I'm really happy with how the wing landed, like right on top. Looks like I moved it maybe a hair when I was straightening it out. So I get it back where it was. Yeah, that's better. You can see how much more durable that wing is compared to a quill wing, and much, 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 much easier to tie in. Oh, sorry, if I said Valhalla, I meant Villa. My bad. It's all good. I don't know which one of us was mistaken, but either way, it's fine. I'm gonna get some head cement on that and some, we'll throw a little bit of Sally Hansen's on there too, just to harden the head up. But yeah, new or old tire, I mean, you don't have to necessarily, it doesn't have to be a good pattern for a new tire for it to be an effective and useful pattern for someone that's tied thousands of flies. But it covers a lot of bases for me that I can see a new tire benefiting from. It's got a few hackle fibers. Not sure if I'll get them or not. Doesn't really matter, but I like my heads to be pretty. Didn't see them until I got the glue on them, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I got her. Yeah, good enough. Okay, we'll put a little bit of Sally Hansen, just a whiff. We're just gonna basically maybe add an 1/8 or 1/6, with the amount of head cement we have. Yeah, I've had walleye. I mean, it reminded me a lot of whitefish, actually, to be honest. Or Dolly Varden. It wasn't as oily as carp or something, but it definitely tastes like a predator fish. Well, that's a never-ending battle there, Rob. I've always like kind of hummed and hawed about getting like a like some kind of app to keep track of what stuff I already have or what I need or what I'm wanting or what I'm running low on, or so I end up buying like 3 spools of the same color and being like, oh, well, I guess I don't need to buy that for a bit, or whatever. Do I have that shade of rabbit zonker? Yeah, they're cool. Okay, so we'll do my little spin and spiel on this guy here. Just give me a moment. Okay, so that's a Chappie tied on a size 10 hook. You can tie this from anywhere from a 12 all the way up to a 2. It has 2 grizzly hackle fibers, or sorry, not fibers, 2 grizzly hackle feathers from a cape tied in as the tail, back to back, and the same thing for the wing, 2 grizzly hackle. This in this case is almost like a chickaboo, tied in as a wing. The body is an orange wool with a slightly lighter orange embroidery thread chased all the way up for a nice segmentation. A little tiny beard tied in with some badger hackle, and grizzly hackle to finish off on the top, just light grizzly hackle. This is fished as a wet fly, but kind of tied in proportions of a dry fly. Wonderful little pattern, super good searcher, really durable, great little thing for a new tire to tie up. You can really kind of just a good utilitarian wet fly that you can fish through riffles and whatnot. Excellent little thing. Good attractor, excellent for brook trout. It was originally tied by C.L. Franklin, who did a lot of writing for outdoor magazines and different fishing magazines and ran a small outfitting store in the Los Angeles area. It became really popular going up and down Washington to Idaho, pretty much the whole West Coast in the 70s, and then kind of fell out of favor in the early 80s. Still a really effective and good pattern though, however. There we go. Here, let me spawn you guys a few more stars for you while we're waiting. Boop, 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 boop. There you go. Go nuts. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. We'll get him in some sort of cork here. Let me find a cork I got room in. I need to get some more corks. Hey, Travel Trout, how you doing? I try. Sometimes my tongue really just drops and jumps all over the place with that, with the spin and spiels. There you go. That's a wonderful fly. It reminds me a lot of the one we did yesterday. Where did I put that one? Oh, he's right here. There you go. That's convenient. There's the one we did yesterday. He's like a creamsicle. He makes me happy. There we go. Hey, Glacier. Shark! I'm sorry the weather hasn't been good for you, mate. I've been missing all my shark videos. But you're getting lots of cute pictures of the dog in the snow, though, so that's good. Yeah, but the other one, like, this one here reminds me of like a creamsicle. It's just like got all the nice colors in it. Little bucktail. That was a fun little tie, too. I'm gonna have to do up a bunch more of those. That thing was fun. The other one was Brad's Brat. That was the orange bucktail. So we're gonna see if he'll stay over there for us, and we'll get another hook going here. Yeah, it's that time of year, right? If you have bad weather, then I'm assuming the bad weather would affect the barometer and the fish's appetite. I don't know if it's the same in the ocean as it is in lakes, but I know that really affects the fish in lakes. But I don't know about the ocean because it's so much bigger. Maybe you don't. You'd know better than anyone. Bing! I love pinging my my hooks. Meep meep. It's just like, you know, those like door stops you used to play with when you were a kid. Boing boing boing. Alright, so we're gonna do the same thing here. This time I'm gonna use the other lighter embroidery thread, and we'll see if it makes any difference for us. I haven't seen him in here tonight, but Trip, he's a new subscriber, and he's just starting off his channel. He's sitting at 40, what was he at, 42 or so now? Not quite at 50, but he's been popping in here. He pops in here again. I was just checking his channel out and thinking, like, you know, the views and everything he's getting on his shorts are actually really good. And considering he only has 10 videos up and he's almost got his 50 subs, he's doing really good. I just want to congratulate him with that. Like, if you look at the numbers overall, there you go. I'm running out of stars for you guys. There we go. Can drop some bombs too. Careful, don't get away from those. Oh no. There you go. Glacier Shark got blown into a bunch of stars. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing we did last time. I got 2 Glacier Sharks. Or, yeah, Glacier Sharks kicking butt by just being blown into all the stuff. Yeah, I noticed that, Rob. I really appreciate you helping him out. That first 50 is a real bear to get. And like I said, he's really putting the, I didn't realize he was only 12 years old. Like, the kid's got some talent, man. So if he pops in here, I want to give him my kudos, because he's got a lot of skill for his age. And I hope he keeps up with it. I just didn't want him getting discouraged because it's taken a bit, but if you look at the numbers that he's got, for where he's sitting at, like, those are good numbers, right? Especially for just starting out. He's doing really well. He's getting a lot of views. He's just, the traction's going to take a little time for him, that's all. But yeah, he's got a lot of skill. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in like a year or so from now. Yeah, he's only 12, man. I mean, I tied when I was 12 too, but I mean, for when I was 12, he was leaps and bounds better than where I was. Well, a lot of things have changed, but still, not throwing any shade his way. He's got a lot of skill. Okay, so we're gonna shave off pretty much right to that white there. As I completely muck up my tail, I had it almost perfect. Let me redo that. Come on, tail. You were doing so nice for me. There we go. Okay, I do like to split these guys. Yeah, he's got himself a nice vise. He's got some good material now. He just needs to be consistent, keep the effort up, and it'll pay off. It won't take him that long. The trips something. Trips with 2P. Sorry, man. I know I'm talking about him. I don't have any link to him or anything. Ooh, that's horrible. Let's redo it. Ooh, that was bad. Whoa, what did I do there? Look at that. It's like a nymph tail. One second, I'm gonna redo that. I think I might have got them backwards. They're so small now, it's hard to tell which way's up. You were just outside. You can stay inside. Okay, so that looks like the outside. I think I got these spun around. Yeah, that's the cool thing about this hobby is there's no like I win button, right? We all get to cheer each other on. Yeah, Villa, I think Villa would actually really like him because, not like we all got our own unique styles, right? But I really feel like Trip's style is very similar to how Villa ties. So I think Villa would really like him. Why aren't these staying together? Sorry guys, give me a second to fight with these. Okay, so that's the dull side. That's the right side. There we go. Wow, that took me a minute. Sorry about that. I don't know, it must have spun on me, I think. Let's do a soft wrap to help it not do that twice. And again. There we go. Hey Luca, how you doing, man? Hopefully the rest of your holiday went well. Everything around the farm. They did it again. What's going on here? It's like they just don't want to tie in. Alright, well, it's not horrible. You can see how it's spreading out on me. I mean, that's not a bad, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually going to move the water really well, but it's not what I was going for. I'm just not sure why it really wants to pull apart. It's acting like I got them backwards, but I'm pretty sure I got them the right way. Either way, it still looks good though. We'll roll with it. Not going to fuss with it more than that. Just a tail. Okay, so we're tying our new embroidery thread. It's all good, look. I don't mind if it turns out bad. The part that bugs me is when it does the opposite of what my brain says it should be doing, and it's like, why is it doing the thing it's doing? That bugs my brain when it's acting differently than I expect it to. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's good for, that's good for the learning process and trying to figure everything out. That's a big part of what I enjoy with this hobby. Sorry, I really should have unwrapped this before. I'm just trying not to cut the thread. This wrap plastic is actually pretty robust. How thick that is. I don't normally throw plastic in there, but there we go. So this one's like a mottled, so our mileage may vary with what color we get. I'm gonna try and get a little bit on the lighter side. Yeah, we're gonna go with this lighter bit. As I lose like half my... Lose like half the threads here. There we go. It's got this nice top which actually holds the thread fairly well. I dislike thread bobbins that don't have a place for you to stick your thread. Okay, so we got about double what we need here, but I'm going to go for this kind of lighter mottled color. And I could even tie it in to the point where it's going to color change. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera. It's much lighter to this side, and it's much oranger to this side. We're going to go with this lighter section. Because I wanted that kind of contrast to the first fly. We'll see which one looks better. If we get a little bit... If we got a nicer, that is the problem with quill or tails and feathers with a rachis in them, is you got to be real careful with the last placement of your thread there. Alright, so I'm going to pull off some wool. We'll get this body going. But yeah, if you guys see Trip around, I know he's been floating around all the normal haunts here. Drop him a hello and encourage him, because that kid's got some skills, and I want him to hold on and get through the rough part, right? Yeah, Vilgrim's, I think, or Villa, I think you'd really like his tying style. And he just seems like a solid, down-to-earth kid, too, to be honest. I mean, at 12, he could be trying to put up Roblox videos and stuff, right? And the fact that he's doing some fly tying stuff, and good quality videos, too. I mean, for his first, like, 10 videos, there's definitely room for improvement, but I mean, he puts more effort in than I do, that's for sure. Anyway, I'll stop yabbering about him. I'm really impressed with how he's going along, and hopefully he works out well. Don't want to interrupt the tail too much. There we go. So we're just wrapping the orange on the body here. And I'm just hand wrapping it. The nice thing about having a thin wool like this is it'll give you a smooth body, but and passionate about it too, man. That's what makes me excited when I see someone not just tying, but like thoroughly enjoying it. Be honest, I hope he finds something he's passionate about and then gets good at it and then just starts spreading out to whatever his heart desires at that point. That would be cool. I knew he was younger, but then I read his bio on his YouTube and I was like, dude, you're 12? That's like, I remember tying good when I was 12 too, but he's tying really good for 12. And confident too. I mean, it takes a lot to jump on live streams or even shorts and throw your workout there for everyone to see. And that can be nerve-wracking when you're just starting. Or even when you've been doing it for a while. Yeah, there's still days where it's like, you know, I'm biting my tongue. Anyway, I hope he does, I wish him well, hope he does good. We have a really awesome community here, and I tied my body, just pointing this out because I made a mistake, and not necessarily a mistake, but I did the opposite of what I should have done / would have normally done. And I tied my body in this direction, so counterclockwise. And I'm tying my rib in clockwise. Normally I do them backwards, and the reason for that is what's happening right now, where I'm mucking my tail up. So normally I would tie my rib in going the other way, because if you go over top of your body here first, what'll almost always happen is it'll slide back and interrupt your tail like that. Whereas if you're tying it under, your tail's generally on the top of the hook, so if you put your tension on this part, you're far enough away from the tail if you're going the other direction. So it's a good habit to get into. I don't even normally think about it anymore, to be honest. I just wrap that direction. But now that I'm wrapping the incorrect direction twice, I'm not counter wrapping anymore, and this has the chance of sinking into that wool. So we're gonna see if that happens or not. If I was going the other direction, it would stand on top of the wool a little better because it's going the opposite wrap direction. It's not gonna sink in between the wool wraps. I'm just trying to get it to sit on top of the wool and not using as much tension on it. This embroidery thread is actually a lot thinner than I was expecting it to be compared to the other stuff. It looked roughly about the same thickness. Yeah, and it's just, again, one of those little tiny details that after you've been tying forever, you just don't even think about it anymore. But it really does, when you're a new tyer, it can make a big difference for you. So I normally wrap over into my belly for the body, and then over into my head or my eye. So counterclockwise for the rib, clockwise for the body. Um, and if you get in the habit of doing that every time you tie a fly, whether you're ribbing it or not, unless the pattern requires you to do something different. But if you get in the habit of doing that every time, then you don't even think about it anymore, and it just becomes habit. But for the last two flies here, I don't know why, my brain and my body went cattywampus on me and tied it backwards. Okay, so for whatever reason, I don't know, I lost my other chickaboo feather. This one's actually not in like the best shape. It's not really a well-shaped chickaboo feather. You can see it's kind of fluffy all over. This would make wonderful legs or a tail on a nymph if you were stripping this off. I might actually use this for, we'll use this for the beard, maybe. Yeah, I blame the dog too. Bugger. Always wanting outside and wanting treats and love. Jeez. There. Everyone says I can blame the dog on my missing feathers. Alright, so we'll pick some new feathers here for the wing. Because saying you want to get, you can get up in these top corners here, you're going to get the nicest kind of chickaboo feathers. If I can find a couple. Just give me a minute to pick through. This cape doesn't have a huge assortment of them, but it has enough. Oh, I can see two nice ones there. I'm just trying to. Oh, yeah. Don't let him fool you. He's a complete suck. He will beg for everything. I got two there? Well, it's hard to tell. Thought I had two last time too, and obviously I didn't. Oh, it's really in there. These chickaboo feathers can be hard to pull out. There we go. Looks like I got like 12 there, but I think I only got 2. Okay, and most of the time when you're pulling chickaboos out, you'll get these underduff feathers, which they're not useless, but I mean, they're so prevalent that there's not a lot of point in saving them, and I like to save a lot of material. So if you get them, just pull them out like that. Yeah. I think it was a hairline term. Or no, sorry, it was yeah, dog's running around now. He wants more love and treats. He's really kind of springy right now. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this right to the base of this black here. I'm guessing this is gonna be way too big, but we're gonna start. It does sound kind of like a Pokemon. I think it was actually termed by Whiting Farms actually when they started producing chickaboo as a product. That's still like a bit long, eh? I think we might have to actually pull it back all the way to that black line there. And it's a little fatter than the other one I pulled out. Probably should have grabbed one a little lower. As you get more to the center of the cape too, from the edge where the chickaboo is, as you get more to the center, these will get thinner as you get closer, and a very small area, like maybe 2 finger widths across on the cape. So you can kind of pick the size that you want by where it's kind of landing in there. Every cape's a little different, but that's a good general rule of thumb. Yeah, that's good. We'll make that work. I like that. Okay, so since this was its little friend in crime. We should be sitting at roughly the same size and pattern, just like we did last time. But let's check that first before we start stripping everything off of it. Okay, so there's the one we got prepared, and here's the other one. I see 2 bands on that one. This one looks like it has 2 bands. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's close enough. Okay, so we know we want to bring it down right to that white there then. The nice thing about grizzly feathers is the banding makes it really easy to kind of measure stuff like this, because it's, yeah, the banding makes it fairly easy to measure stuff because it's a good measuring, you know, literally colored bars, so it's like easy to gauge. Okay, so I'm just putting these together. So again, these came from the same side of the cape, obviously, but you see how bent over they are? But that makes a really good wing, because the 2 of them will press against each other and hold each other in place. Much like taking a quill from a left and a right wing of a left and right ring. Blah, blah. Come on, tongue, make the word do the thing. Left and white, not white, left and right wing of a flight feather. So there we go. Those are cupped together real nice. The one has a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy substantial at all. Alright. I'm just going to cut these because these are springing. Look how wide those are springing out. I'm just going to cut those. They don't need to be anywhere close to that long, so they're not getting caught on my bobbin or anything. We're going to place this directly on top. Yeah, more tea. Thanks. Hydration. Caffeine. Oh, yeah, I always seem to mess up my words when I lack my tea. Hey, we got Savage Fly's song jumping in. I like that guy's channel. If you guys, like, I'd be surprised if you haven't seen Savage Flies out and about, but if you haven't, go check his channel out. He's, well, as you would guess by the name, he's by the Savage River. He's just a good tire. He likes the traditional vintage stuff like I do. Wow, that really slipped up on my fingers. I felt it slip, but I didn't think it slipped that bad. That's okay. We only got a couple wraps on there, so I should be able to save this by flatly. So I'm going to take my tweezers this direction instead of this direction. I'm going to hold the wings together. Grab both rakuses with the same quill. And instead of pulling, I'm just going to rock it. Yeah, he's been around for a good while. And he's just a good, solid, down-to-earth guy. But yeah, I'm just going to take my tweezers and then just rock it up. Oop, did I not grab it that time? Where's the other one? There we are. Do as I say, not as I do, because I just grabbed one and not two. And if you just roll it, you'll break your tip like I did there. But, seriously, come on. Did I pull it in enough? Not quite. Pretty dang close, though. But instead of pulling this way, you can easily pull too far and too hard. If you just roll your tweezers a bit, you'll just pull, you know, the length of your tweezer roll, which is generally enough to suck it up without going overboard. I'll try that one more time. Wow. Okay. Either my tweezers are sharp or those are brittle because they broke twice. Yeah, I mean, if you don't, or yeah, honestly, if you're not subscribed to him, go do that. That's okay. I'm gonna unravel this, even though I really don't want to, and I'm gonna do that again. So I'm too far off. But yeah, if you like vintage patterns, he goes through pretty much all the same kind of patterns I do for the most part, to be honest. Yeah, I'm surprised, Robert, if you haven't ran into, I think his actual name's Paul. I want to say it's a P word anyway. But yeah, if you haven't run into him, he's just a good, solid guy, and he's got a lot of really good vintage stuff. And he goes through the history of the flies and the tire and all that stuff. Yep, very similar to my getup. He's just a lot more informative and personable. Okay, well that's, I mean it's a lot closer, but I could pull that ahead. I think we're gonna leave it. We're gonna let it go. We're gonna call it good. I really could have pulled that like a bobbin width. Could have pulled that ahead just, just a little bit more. I'm not sure why it's scooting back so much on me. Either way, it looks good. I'm happy with it, and it's somewhat centered. At least it was centered. There. Close enough. It might. I think what most of my problem was, because these guys are fairly sharp edge on them there, and like I was trying to do the whole roll technique, and I normally do the rolling technique with my other pliers or my other, wherever they are. I don't know. They walked away like all my tools do. But I have some rounded nosed, just regular rounded nosed tweezers, and they're not sharp at all, and they work much better for that. But yeah, hackle, you could do a hackle plier, sure, I've done that many times, where you just get the hackle plier in there, grip the end like so, and then just roll the hackle pliers. You just have way more control in that little movement there than if you're trying to pull like this, because almost always you end up pulling too hard. I'm sure if you practice enough, you could do the pull technique, but I find it's more of a fail boat than anything else. Okay, let's see. Do I have another hackle feather? I do not. Well, we're going to use some of this for the beard, and we'll get the hackle tied in and call it good. We don't need to drag this on forever and a day. Alright, so I'm going to pull this off. Absolutely. Hey, Dustin. You know what, Dustin? I was looking through all my subscribers because I'm getting close to the 1K thing, and I'm making a 1K video. And you, my good sir, you were the first person to subscribe to my channel when I switched over to fly tying. So I appreciate that. Thank you. It just happened to be, of course, it's Dustin who's the one that supports everyone, right? But yeah, you were the very first person to subscribe to my channel when I switched over to fly tying. So thank you for that. But I think that is super legitimate because Dustin supports so many people. Thank you. Hey, Corey. Yeah, I wish I had spent more time with Turner's channel. I haven't been over on Turner's channel as much as I'd like to, for sure. I'm just doing a little bit of a beard like we had on the last one. Yeah, anyone that's hanging out with Turner's more than welcome to hang out here, man. Turner's good people. He really inspired me to keep my channel going, and do the fly tying thing. Oh, is that David? Give me a second here, David. That is David, Traveler Flies. Good to have you in, mate. Oh, getting all the crew in here, just popping in now. You guys are all in time to watch me mess up my hackle. Just gonna make this head a little bit bigger. Really, first time you've seen me have a live, I've been on live every morning for, well, almost every morning besides being sick. Every morning for like 3 months. I'm not normally live this time of day though, that's probably the thing. I do enjoy tying this time of day, but it's, you know, it's busy with 4 kids and everything. It's easier for me to do the mornings. Okay, I'm just trying to get rid of, I do have a bit of a lip there I'm trying to fill in. But yeah, thanks for being my my very first fly tying subscriber, Dusted. That's going back a bit too. That was it really early 2024, I think, was when I got Dusted to subscribe to me. I got the date written down. My very, very, very first subscriber is my lovely, wonderful wife, Bonnie Bell Plumbottom. She subscribed my channel back in 2018. My channel's actually been running since 2007, but it's been redone a number of times. So, I don't know why I'm tying more. Why am I pulling out more body material? Here, hold on. Brain's not working, need more tea. So we're gonna get some hackle first. I'm trying to find a hackle here that's not too damaged, because a lot of the hackles that are in the size range I want here were left on there for a reason. Yeah, like this one's gonna be, you know, that might work. He's a little bit on the long side. I'll see if I can find one that's slightly smaller. Yeah, if you like, who is hey, cool. Appalachians are beautiful. Was it Robert? Were you talking about musky flies? Because you're talking about musky flies, like a lot of the stuff that David ties is, it's not necessarily musky flies, but they're very, very similar. So if you like that kind of style stuff and you're looking at getting some musky stuff done up, check out some of David's videos. I know they're not specifically musky flies, but very, very similar style of muskies. His are more like ocean going stuff, but since muskies are predator fish, and that's what David goes after, traveler flies there. Check out his stuff; it's really good. I love David's style; it's just open and honest. I might be just a hair long on these. No, I think we can make that work. One day, we'll be here waiting for you. No worries, Robert. Good to have you in, mate. Thanks for all the support and everything. I appreciate it, I really do. Just trying to get that wrapped in here. Okay. Thanks for saying night to Robert and Trudge there. I never know where to call him whether to call him Trudge or Robert, to be honest. Yeah, see you tomorrow morning. I'll be back in the morning. Gonna maybe finish our signature line on my game tonight, hopefully. We're into our well, I'm assuming it's the last area. I haven't played the expansion yet, but I'm guessing it's the last area. Okay, good. I didn't want to, you know, impose. Some people like to keep their real names kind of to themselves, but it's all good. I have a lot of trouble with names, so if a name sticks in my head, I just use the one that sticks in my head. I'm just gonna lock that guy in here. See if I get him locked in. Yeah, it looks like I got him. Dusty's a good one. Yeah, I'm stuck on Luca. I've just been calling you Luca for so long now. Okay, gonna try and get this cut off clean here. Manage it. Without getting too many hackles. Come on, buddy. There we go. That hackle wrap worked pretty good. It's amazing, like how nice you can make some barnyard chicken hackle look. Really, it surprises me all the time. Again, I'm just gonna throw a few thread wraps at the base here to push these back a little bit, but nothing crazy. Actually, that pushed back a little more than I wanted it to. Let's undo that. There we go. That's better. 5 feet of snow, really. A lot of ours is gone. Like we're supposed to get a dump of snow tomorrow and the next day. So we'll see what that brings. But overall, we haven't had a whole lot of snow this year. And my main lake is still all open water, which is crazy for January. I mean, I'm thankful this hasn't gotten down to like, we only got down to minus 28 that one night. And that's minus 28 Canadian. But I would like some ice to go ice fishing. That'd be fine. It's kind of crazy. We got down to minus 28 for a couple days. And then it sat around minus 10 or so, but we still got open water on the lake. Like it froze up and then it melted and it froze up and it melted. So there's a few spots where people are ice fishing, but it's in my opinion, it's not safe. When you have that freeze thaw, you get that rotten ice on top, and it's like white and fluffy, and it's not cool. Like that's where you fall through. It's better for the fish, though. I mean, it increases the oxygen level in the lakes if they're not frozen for. Yeah, if it wasn't for that one guy in the shack on the other side of the Mississippi, you would have both sides. But you know, that one guy in the shack, he makes some bomber fudge. Um, at some point, I'll be able to get some ice fishing videos when we actually get some ice. There we go. Just gonna pull that beard down a little bit. Yeah, overall, I'm happy with that. Well, he's not gonna tell you his secret, though, right? Okay. I mean, we normally have ice like a month ago. It's really late this year. I mean, this time of year, we're normally like minus 35, minus 40, so like the ice is so thick that I can barely drill through it with my auger at this point in the year normally. Like I'll literally bury my whole auger into the lake before I get to water. And sometimes we have to dig down like that with the auger and then get our spud bars and keep going and bust it with the bars because your auger's just, even with an extension, isn't long enough. I don't like to use the extensions though. Like if the ice is that thick, I'm just gonna find an open hole or something else because the extensions cause them to wobble a lot. I mean, if the ice is like, 6 feet thick, it's probably too cold to be out there anyway. That's true. Um, well, like you got the bendy part where you twist around, right? And that part doesn't count because it can't go in the hole. But I think it's like, yeah, that's exactly what happens here, and that's pretty common. But once you get a hole open, like the first time I took wife out ice fishing, it was minus, what was it, minus 28 deer or so? It was cold. Um, but it was like that. We got like I got to the point where I had to clear off as much snow as I could where the handle was, but like I only had like this much clearance, like just like an inch or two before I was gonna hit the handle and couldn't go any deeper, and I finally just busted through. Um, but it took me a good like 45 minutes of grinding through because the ice was just so hard. But we got it open. Didn't catch anything. We got the hole open. But that was a cold day. It was really cold. Even with like proper boots and everything, our feet were freezing cold after a couple hours out there. That was fun. Still had a good day. So there you go, guys. I kind of like the. I guess I got my ribbing off just a hair in that one spot right there. Let's see, is it okay there? Might be able to fix that with the bobbin actually. It's it's different because like at minus anything past minus 20 sucks. Like it just is that simple. Uh, it sucks the heat right out of you. But it's actually better if it's like from minus 6 to minus 10. It actually feels warmer at minus 10 than it does like right around the single digits. From minus 10 to minus 15, it actually feels a lot warmer because there's no moisture in the air. It's so cold that everything freezes right away, like even your breath. So there's less conduction from your body to the air because there's just no moisture. The moisture content's like almost zero. Um, so it's dry and chicken. Oh, traveler flies. I gave him that cool chicken. Is that the one you're talking about? I thought that suited him. Hopefully you like that, man. I gave you the big old rooster. And of course, Luca's got the cow. Looks like Corey's got a cute little blue fox. I like that. Mm. Thank you. And I thought Dusted suited like a little grasshopper. So I gave him a little grasshopper. But yeah, once you get past -20, then it's trying to think of how to describe it. It kind of hurts more. Get like you're the only thing out in the world that's above freezing and liquid. Right? Everything around you is frozen solid. So like you can feel it just like sucking the heat out of you from -20 to -30. Like it's a weird experience if you haven't experienced before. Um, yeah, it does actually. I thought that too. No, it does look like the Zelda chickens for sure. But yeah, from -20 to -30, it's just that's where it gets painful, where you don't even want to smile because you're scared to break your teeth. And anything past -30 just sucks. That's where everything stops working, everything breaks. Um, like even trying to get like a heater working outside, like if you're using like a little space heater. I've done that numerous times. Where you take the space heater, you got to bring it in from outside, or outside from inside. Yeah, that's true. And it's way more dangerous at like -2 or -3 or -5 where there's still liquid water around. Um, but one problem I had a lot growing up when it was really cold is we take the space heaters out and put them in the car so you could warm the car up enough to get it started or put it under the engine if you had to. But it's so cold at -30 that if you're not careful, the plastic, if it's not rated for outdoors, and a lot of them aren't, the plastic on the power cord to the device that you're plugging in, within like a few minutes will get brittle and literally just crack and shatter and fall apart like glass. And then you got bare wires. Of course, then you got a short. So you got to be like quick about it, and then you got to coil your power cable up in front of the heater so that it can blow the heat on the power cord and keep it from freezing. Otherwise, you'll end up with a smoke show. And lots of little things like that that you just don't think about when you're not dealing with that kind of cold. Yeah, I like him. He turned out pretty good. I could have been a little, but you can see what I was talking about. Like I went the same direction on that rib, like I was talking about as the body, and you can see how the rib's moving around now, and it's not very consistent. And that's partially because I did the rib and the body in the same direction. And propane, yes. Yeah, propane and coal don't mix well. I got special heaters that I can put on the tank, like because we use propane. Um, yeah, yeah. The first time that happened to me, it was like took a second for my brain to catch up because it's like the heater's creating heat. Why is it? Why is this not functioning? And then I noticed it's smoking because all the plastic's shattered off of the power cable because it's not rated for outdoors. And you got to be careful with like Christmas lights and stuff like that too, because if you're using like indoor Christmas lights outside, the same thing will happen. You'll end up with like a small little puff of smoke or fire. Yeah, we got these. You can use regular heat tape. Like I got heat tape on everything. But you can use, if you can't find heat tape, or sometimes it's a cheaper option, is when people are fermenting beer and wine and such, you can get these wraps for the fermentation barrels to keep it warm. And those work really well for keeping your propane tank going. There you go. There you go, Dustin. Yeah, stuff like that. Like it'll happen to you once, and then you'll like, as you're doing it, you're just like, your brain's like, why is this happening? This should be working. But you know, the battle with the cold. Oh, hey, no worries, Corey. Good to have you in, mate. Well, my tea's done. That's the last of it. Okay, I'll do my spin and spiel here, and we'll call it an evening. Appreciate everyone hanging out with me. Okay. Oh, and thanks for being a member this month too, Stardust. I appreciate that. So this is an orange Chappie tied on a size 10 hook with a grizzly hackle tail tied in and a grizzly hackle feather. That's two feathers, or two grizzly hackle feathers tied together, transposing each other so they make a nice wing, and a grizzly hackle beard and hackle up front with a lovely little bulbous black head. The body is tied in with orange wool chased with yellow embroidery thread. Wonderful little durable little fly. He takes a lot more of a beating than a Royal Coachman would, so it's a great fly for a beginner to learn to cast wet flies. Wonderful little deal. Add a few to your box, eh? There we go. Yeah, night, David. Good to have you in. Night, Luca. Muddy. Stardusted. I know Villa's probably gone, but good night, Villa. Thanks for coming in. Rob's gone. Thanks for coming in, Rob. Corey was new guy coming in. Always good to have a new one. We also had David Traveler Flies. That's a lovely pattern. I really like the pattern. It's really simple, easy to tie. It's effective and good. Oh, sorry, Luke. I didn't get my little notice. You threw me a little super chat. I appreciate that, mate. I'm sorry I totally missed that. It didn't come through on my chat there. I think I got everyone. Did I get everyone? I don't think I'm missing anyone. We had Muddy, we had Yoshi, Pilgrims, just a regular crew. I think we pretty much had the whole crew in. There we go. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Y'all have a good night.